Buying a home? Don't panic. Just listen to the rest of this podcast. All right, everybody. We're back. Today we have Isaac Colon of Electric Brothers Company. I met Isaac by Googling and looking for an electrician for a major upgrade I did on my house. And after talking to several electricians, I chose the Electric Brothers. And so I'm sitting here with the one and only Isaac. How you doing, man?
Good. I'm doing good. And yourself, John? How you doing?
All right. First of all, I want to thank you for providing the lighting for this podcast. Thanks to you, we now have adjustable LED lights in here.
Yeah.
Before I met you, I had a strip bar.
I remember that.
On one side, and it would just blast light in one direction, and it just wasn't the best lighting. But now this looks awesome.
No, it does. Looks clear. It looks good. It looks crisp.
Yes, and it's not even full blast.
No.
It's at a nice level, and we also put the ceiling fan in with the LED circle light above it.
I like that though. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's really cool. Thank you for that. Your crew is awesome. That Juan and David.
Yeah.
And then Chewy, right?
Yeah, Chewy also.
Yeah. Those guys did some great work. They were very respectful of the house. They didn't break my house, which was great. And yeah, you guys showed up like every day on time. I was blown away by that.
That's the hard thing of contractors is finding someone that is one, responsible, one that is going to be answering your phone calls, emails. If they don't answer it, you do any of those three, imagine when the job starts. It's going to be hard for them to come on to the job on time. If there's the change and you're not getting any answers on time, they're not showing up on time. It's just nightmares.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It's nightmares.
It's like a warning. Well, I'm trying to hire this guy, but he's not answering my emails and not picking up the phone. You probably want to find somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's just going to get worse.
Yeah, and that's what I tell customers. Like, how many people have you interviewed is what I tell them. This is why I come about is how many people have you interviewed for this electrical work? And they'll tell me, we have a guy that was going to show up, but he said he was going to check his emails and let me know. I'm like, wow.
I remember you asking me that. You did ask me that.
I was like, okay, what about the other people? Oh, well, they need to see, and one was going to come. He never came. It's just,
right.
Okay.
Right. And real quick, the reason why I chose you, it wasn't because of your price. It wasn't because of your price. It was because of your responsiveness.
Yeah.
You actually walked my job 3 times, and 3 times you told me the exact same thing. That was priceless.
Oh, and the way we try to set things up in the office for customers.
Yeah.
There's always someone they can call in the office and get a hold of. There's always scheduling with appointments with emails. So there's confirmation, and that's what people like.
And a written estimate with details.
Yeah.
Woo.
That's what people like.
That's always fun. But today we're going to get right into, actually we're going to nerd out on these little guys right here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you, first question I'm going to ask you is, what is the technical name of this?
Of the plug?
Yeah. Is it a plug? Is it a receptacle?
Oh, there's different terms to it. You know what I mean? It's like everything. If you're on the field, everybody calls it different things.
Exactly.
That style's a yoke style plug.
Yeah.
Because it's oblong. So people call it different things on the trade.
Right. So this here is obviously a grounded plug.
Correct.
Because it's got the third opening there. So what can you tell a homeowner about what they need to know? What does a homeowner need to know about plugs?
If they're buying a home, which most people are, when I'm going to these walks, people are want me to investigate some of the stuff with electrical. One thing to see is how bad is the maintenance in the plugs and throughout the whole house. I mean, regardless, when I tell people maintenance on plugs and switches, you got to change them out when they're going to buy the house. Even if the old person was here and everything was working fine.
Right. You mean like a really old plug?
Yeah.
Just get rid of it.
Update them all.
They can get loose on the inside. Like you plug something that's really loose. It's got a poor connection that could spark.
Yeah.
And that could cause a fire. So,
well, you got to remember too, these things have little pieces of a pin of steel that's compressed.
Right.
So when you're sticking in your prong on the steel, it's going to grab. It's because it's compressed. But after a while with the heat and the load, like if you have space heaters on it, well, this little portion is going to heat up.
Yeah.
After a while, heating up, and the metal will get softened up, right?
Yep.
So that's when you see a plug, you plug it into the plug, and then it falls.
Right. Right.
And that's where you start getting loose connectivity. You get shorts. You get those little arcs on the walls, and people are saying, I don't know what happened. I had a space heater, and then it just sparked up. Well, and I looked around in the rooms, and I'm looking at all the plugs, and they got old style plugs. And I go, well, pretty sure you had some loose connections in the plugs, and it fell out. It goes, yeah, we know. That is true.
And then you have the homeowner who thinks he's a painter and paints everything.
Yeah.
They fill the holes with paint. They don't even try to clean it out. I'm over there trying to put my tester in, and I can't even get past the ground part.
Yeah.
See, the ground part's a little bit longer than the other two. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. I write it up. You can't even use this receptacle now. You don't want to stick something in there and try to clean it.
The worst one I've seen all the time is when I go to apartment buildings and they want us to do like a maintenance or update or stuff, is when I'm going inside to look for the solar panels, they take off the covers and they spray paint the walls, and they spray paint all the breakers, all the guts.
Yep. No brains, man.
No brains.
No brains whatsoever. But yeah, they did that years ago too, in these older buildings too. When I pull off like an old panel cover, like on a condo, they're notorious for spraying boxes. Yeah. Everything's got and it's the knockdown. It's not just spray paint; it's the knockdown from the drywall.
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. You'll see some mud, spray paint, and the breakers don't work that good because they start getting paint on them. So
Yep. So one thing that's a new requirement now, and that's tamper-resistant plugs for kids.
Right, residential it is.
Residential. So as a home inspector, when I'm talking to my customers, I always ask them, "Do you have any little ones?" And they're like, "Oh, most people are like, yeah, we do." I'm like, "Well, you want to upgrade these." And now why? Well, because they're protective. You don't have to run around the house and put those little plugs on everything.
Yeah.
So these take the place of putting the plastic protectors, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so some of you may have kids, and you may have already done this. You go to the store and you buy all the plastic protective covers. You stick on all the outlets.
Yeah.
Well, with these new upgraded tamper-resistant type, you don't have to do that anymore, because there's a plastic. How can I describe that? Is that one there?
Yeah, you can see the plastic inside.
Okay, you can see that. One. All right, Brad, you brought one. Awesome.
Yeah, that's a tamper resistant right here.
Yep. Okay, so you can see the little plastic right inside there.
Yeah.
That makes it really difficult for a small child to stick something sharp in there.
And even when people are still using these, after we install them in people's homes, they are hard to plug stuff in. It's the whole point.
Yeah.
The thing you got to do is just kind of wiggle it side to side, and
sure.
it'll squeeze in.
Yeah, just don't force it straight. Yeah,
I can't push it in. You just got to wiggle it a little bit, and it'll slide in. It's just it's what it made it for. It's its job.
There's nothing more annoying to me than going into a house and every single plug has a plastic cover on it.
Yeah.
I won't even touch those plugs. I'm not going to sit there and pull all those off. No. We don't have to do that. We're not required to do that. So I'm just like, maybe one I'll do, and then, okay, I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, I see so many of these. I see about 4 to 5 houses a day. I do about 4 or 5 walks a day. Right now, we're doing about 3. It's a little bit slow beginning of the year, but usually when summertime kicks up, I'm doing 4 to 5 walks.
A day. Yeah.
Residential, commercial, everything.
Now, what's the requirement of where these new tamper resistant need to go?
Everywhere in the house.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everywhere in the house. And even GFCIs need to be tamper resistant too when you're putting them in residential. So this is like a 15 amp plug, what normal people would use in an original house that's not a dedicated circuit in the restroom, because most homes don't have them. By code now, restrooms are supposed to have dedicated. So when it's a dedicated GFCI, that's when you have the little mark on the side letting you know that that's for a dedicated plug, meaning it can take more of a load just on this one plug.
So what are you referring to? You said there's an indicator there?
Oh, yeah. You see how the 15 amp doesn't have the little line on the side?
Okay.
You see how this one has the little line?
Okay.
That lets you know that it's a 20 amp dedicated plug, meaning it's a little beefier.
Okay.
It's made just for one load of one circuit, and that's it. It's not like a plugs in rooms where they daisy chain. So that's why you can use 15 amp plugs on those, because they're daisy chain throughout the load of the house.
All right, so let me explain daisy chains for anyone who doesn't know what that means. If there's 5 or 6 plugs, and this one's at the front, and all those 5 or 6 plugs are connected to this one, that's daisy chain, which means that when this trips, they all shut off.
Right, like in that now what you're talking about there, that's usually like on kitchen counters.
Yeah, yeah.
On kitchen counters, when we use that, if the plug's still on the same counter, but you don't want to waste money on GFCIs because they're pretty expensive, you can still use one by code to trip the other one too and be protected on the same side. You just still have to put the GFCI sticker on that regular plug so people know that it's GFCI protected.
Right, right. Yeah, one thing that annoys the shit out of me on a new construction is I've been in houses where the range is connected to the GFCI circuit. Why would you want to put a GFCI range on a GFCI circuit? The oven
on the oven, it's same thing like with the refrigerators. I think it's
it's not. I don't think it's necessary. No. I don't think it's a safety issue either.
No, but people do it, and I warn people when we do new construction on homes, you're gonna have issues with that plug in the refrigerator. We're doing it by code, but I'm just letting you know it would.
So it is code.
It is code, yeah. Same thing with having like a GFCI plug to protect the whole garage. That's code too.
Right. That I understand. That makes sense to me because you're in a wet area. You could be washing your car, playing with hoses or whatever. I get all that, but the range and the fridge. So you're telling me it's code now to have one behind the range and in the fridge?
Yeah, the fridge too needs to be on it.
Because I just did an inspection for a customer a few weeks back. Oh no, I'm sorry, a few months ago now, and I said, hey, look, man, this is going to be a nuisance. Mm-hmm. So if this trips and you don't know it tripped. And you just put a turkey in the oven or whatever, and you're expecting this thing to be cooking, it's off.
Yeah.
Really? Is that the code? I'm like, it most likely is. And that's why it's like that.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a nuisance, just like putting one of those on your refrigerator. If that trips, and usually when that trips, you're not home. So now you got to open the fridge to see that the light's off. You're not going to know. So I just tell people, I would have that replaced. I would change that.
That's what I tell customers too. And they're like, okay, let's take it off.
Right. Okay. So that's interesting stuff there. Okay, so I noticed on one of your on your GFCIs, you got a WR on there.
So WR means it's a weather resistant. Can be outside. It's for an outside location, like outside. You're gonna have the bubble cover still, which is fine, but you still want to have a weather resistant because it's moisture. There's a lot more moisture and stuff. So the plug is
but that's what the WR stands for.
Correct.
And the TR stands for tamper resistant. Yeah. And that's going to be on the Receptacle. Do we have one of those with us?
Which what?
Just the tamper resistant.
Yeah, 15 amp tamper resistant.
Does that say TR on it too?
TR tamper resistant.
Got the label.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just TR tamper resistant. You can see the little plastics in there.
Yeah. Okay. So it is in there. Okay.
Yeah.
My eyes ain't that good. I can't see that far, dude.
There you go. It says tamper resistant right there.
Oh, there you go. Tamper resistant GFCI outlet. Okay.
And then you have the weather resistant GFCI.
And has to be tamper resistant too, right?
It has to be tamper resistant. And then there's the dedicated, this is the dedicated 20 amp tamper resistant. Right. And of course the price goes up from here to here to here.
Sure. And the tamper resistant is also required on the outdoor GFCI that's weather resistant.
On the outside door, yeah. You still got to use it.
So everything's got to be tamper resistant nowadays, pretty much. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's an easy way. That's an easy way to remember that. I hope you home inspectors are listening. When you see these flipped houses that are remodeled and you see all these basic receptacles like this on the outside of the house.
They still make oblong receptacles that are tamper resistant. Some people like that.
Well,
style.
no, I'm referring to ones that wouldn't be. So that's not. I mean, I see this all the time on a flipped house. I go outside, nothing's GFCI protected. They got these just standard interior outlets out there, no covers.
And that's the one thing I always run into when I'm walking homes. People that flip these homes, they never touch anything on the electrical. They do all the kitchen counters, top of the line stuff.
I just referred you a job. We just talked about that a little while ago. It was a house, and so it was a small house. It had I think a 70 amp main panel.
Yeah, I did.
Like a 70 amp main panel. I'm like, man, this wiring here is so like
old,
minimal,
minimal.
I mean, the wiring in there. So I referred the customer to Isaac here, and he went out and bid on the job and got the job. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people really focus on trying to do a full house rewire. It's nightmares. It really is.
Yeah,
I don't recommend it. Yeah. It's not necessary unless you're really into it and you want to do that whole project of the thing. Then it's kind of cool, But
right, we're gonna get into that in a different episode.
Yeah,
on wiring houses, because I know someone that you might have done that for.
Does he live in Burbank?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So. GFCIs. I actually read things once in a while. And I noticed that they say the manufacturer recommends that you push that test button once a month.
Yeah. I didn't know that till you told me that.
Yeah.
So you learn something new every day, right?
You got to read it. And I've actually seen it recently on an electrical panel that had AFCI breakers in it.
Yeah.
And it said right on there, test monthly.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, okay.
It's a headache of a nightmare, man.
Yeah, but the reason for it, I can agree with the reason for it, because these little buttons just have like springs behind them. And if they just sit and sit, dust, air, time.
Well, it's more the moisture and the calcium buildup that gets them.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
The moisture, the calcium buildup behind it, and that's when they get a little sticky.
Yeah.
Get finicky. I mean...
And then you push the button and it won't reset.
It'll just turn red.
Which means it's dead. Yeah. There's no power to it. And if there's something daisy chained to it, everything else is going to be dead too.
Everything downstream will be dead too, yeah.
Right. So rule number 1 as a home inspector, you don't take one of these and push the button unless you are actually at the GFCI itself, because you could be putting this into a regular outlet that could be connected to one of those, and then that could be hidden behind a cabinet.
And no one knows.
And you can't find it. You'll hear it click, and you're like, oh, shit, I know I heard that. Which way did that come from?
I've had that before where customers tell me that I don't know where my garage, there's electricity's out, and I can't figure it out, and like everything's on, and there's got to be a hidden plug in here. No, there's not. So
They never know.
I started looking around, moving things, and I go, what's behind this cabinet here? Oh, I don't know. Well, we unscrew it, pull it out. Oh, there's a plug right there, GFCI. You just reset it, pass the lights on. And it's usually on the newer style homes where we have that problem a lot of. People don't know,
Yeah. Well, they don't teach us this in school.
No.
How to live in a house. So when you see these kind of receptacles with the buttons on them, that means you may need to access them. So don't block them with something, or make a note that it's there, or just take a picture and save it for later, whatever you got to do. But don't block them, because you may need to get to it when you really need to.
And that's right here where it actually shows too, where you're going to be connecting your line for the power coming in. And if you want to protect things downstream, this is where you would take off the tape and put your stuff that you want to protect downstream, like on the kitchen counter.
Gotcha.
So if this trips, it cuts the rest of the power off that way.
Got it.
Now, if you don't want to do that, then you cut both lines on the same side. So even though this trips, there's still power continuing to the other stuff, but it's only protecting this.
Got it.
So
I see what you're saying. All right, cool. So nowadays, I actually have in my new bathroom. Before I met you, I had an electrician here.
Yeah.
And he
how did that work out for you?
He did my bathroom remodeling. It came out really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It actually his work came out good.
I saw pieces of it. I like the wood. That's why I was asking. The wood on the restroom looks pretty cool.
You like the what?
The wood flooring. It looks like wood flooring. It looks pretty cool.
You asking me about the electrician or the bathroom?
Both.
Okay.
It looks. I haven't seen the whole full restroom, but I remember seeing some of the flooring. It came out good.
Yeah. It came out really good. It came out better than what I expected. Because the room, I didn't think it was going to be that big when I was done. And it was actually, everyone's like, man, this is a big bathroom. I'm like, you know what? You're right. It is a big bathroom. So I got more room in there than I bargained for, which is great. So I love it. It's not tight and cramped.
No.
Walk around, take a shower, whatever you got to do. So in my bathroom, I have receptacles with USBs,
Right.
and I love it.
Oh yeah. So do I
I
have them everywhere in my house.
I don't have to have an adapter to go into this and then take your one of these.
Yeah.
You don't have to get an adapter to adapt to this, You just plug in this right into the outlet.
I think
Great
they also
stuff.
make now, I was just talking to you about this, GFCIs that have USB port too.
Yes, I have that in my bathroom.
Oh, okay. See, they do have them. So
Yeah.
I didn't bring
Yep.
one, but they have that. It's kind of cool.
Yep. So that's a great thing to have. Maybe by your nightstand,
Kitchen.
kitchen.
I have
Look,
that
we're
set
all
up.
charging.
Yeah, I have that
Yeah.
set up in my kitchen bar area. People always just come in. I have different style cables, USBs. Everybody that comes over, that's like the charging station for people when they come.
Yeah.
They just plug all their stuff in.
Yeah, because the USBs are interchangeable, but it's on the other end or not. So it depends on what kind of phone you have. You have an iPhone or you don't. I don't know
Or an
why you
Android.
wouldn't have an iPhone. Android?
No, I have an iPhone, but some people have Androids.
Yeah.
And Android connections are different too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So there's all different reasons for doing that. Okay. So here's a good question because I run into this.
Okay.
And it's really hard for me to answer this because I'm not opening up the wall. I'm not opening up the outlet. I'm not doing an intrusive inspection. I'm just visually looking at something. So I'm in a house. It's a really old house, probably built in the 20s or 30s. And I'm seeing a GFCI in multiple areas. But I know on the outside of the house, I have a stab lock panel or maybe an old bulldog panel or whatever. I have a really old panel outside. And I'm not seeing a lot of grounding. And then in that same house, I'll see a few of these still in service. These are two-prong. So fill us in on what these are and what they are not.
those are old school style plugs, just two pronged. There's no ground in them. Obviously, this is what code was back then. This is how things were built, you know. Now, most plugs now have an actual attachment, an actual ID, so people can see it's ground, and that's their point of attachment of it. But this is very old school, and it still works good. You just got to really update the plug, though. You got to remember, this thing is 40, 50 years old, and they have them inside, so the little the steel braces inside of them, they're worn out. What I usually recommend to people is to at least update the plugs. Even though it doesn't have a ground, at least the plug is refreshed and can handle a load. Because
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
That's the key point of it. Yeah, it's not going to be grounded, but at least you know it's going to have a good connection point,
Right.
which is more important, because that's when people start having issues where they start plugging in something, a space heater, and then you see it hanging, and then that's when it starts shorting out.
Right.
That's where the issues start
Space heaters are dangerous
they
anyway.
are.
Never mind plugging them in.
Even it can happen even with the PlayStation or something. TVs is just the wrong touching of heats of the elements for a while, and it's just after a while things heat up and they give out. Everything has a weak leak with the time. And years.
Now the story I'm telling you about these houses I go into, I'll see like a GFCI. I'll see those.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking they got a GFCI connected to a 2-wire system.
Yeah.
Is that even going to work?
It depends. It may not really work fully because it needs the ground to be ID'd, meaning it needs some kind of point of attachment so the ground can set off, make the GFI work correctly. And it just needs to be like a piece of steel, because we've tested a GFCI with a blow dryer, ungrounded, and we threw it in the bucket, and that blow dryer kept on going off. And the moment
It kept burning.
kept burning. We did a full seminar about this one time, and the moment we got the ground wire and just attached to a screwdriver, it tripped. It did its job. But if it's not going to have an ID of a ground, it just needs to sense the ID of the ground for GFCI to really work correctly. It's not really the safest thing. I'm not saying that, oh, yeah, you don't need a ground for the house. I'm not saying that.
So if that plug had a metal box And you attached a box to that, it might work.
It most likely will work because it is a GFCI and it just needs an ID of a ground. Now, I'm not saying you can do a regular 2-prong outlet and put a ground and consider your house grounded. No, that's different. That won't work. But this just needs the ID to sense that it is grounded for it to trip. That's all. I
see what you're saying. So that there you cannot ground. This one here.
No.
Right. But you're saying if I had that, and I wanted to put this in, and it had a metal box, I could put a jumper from the box to this, and it most likely work.
It all depends. I've done it before, and sometimes it doesn't even work. It doesn't even trip. It won't even ID it. It just depends on how good the steel is, if there's a good connection point of a steel on it.
Right, and if you have a metal box, you probably could have a metal conduit anyway.
Yeah, so usually most of the time it does work.
I see.
But most GFCIs, if they're not a ground on them, it won't work. It won't trip.
Okay.
It won't trip, even though if it's like an older style house. A lot of times it won't really trip. It'll take a little bit longer for it to trip is what happens. And that's when the accidents start happening.
Right. Okay. So, that's a helpful, because like I said, I'm not going to be pulling the receptacle to check to see if it's got a jumper or anything like that. But I've walked into a house in Pasadena. I remember the house because the realtor was a real nuthead. She was just off the wall crazy, this little woman. So that's what makes me remember the day. Every single receptacle in that house was a GFCI.
A lot of people do that. A lot of people do that sales pitch. I've heard contractors or people tell me too when I've walked houses and they say, well, why can't we just put a GFCI to protect it and not worry about it? Like what's not really the right thing to do? It's not going to work correctly. That's like not really a fix,
Right.
It's more like a Band-Aid.
Yeah, it definitely brings suspicion to. I'm looking at, that's a non-standard electrical practice right there.
Yeah.
For number one, that's not something we're going to see in every other house that we go into. Not at all. I've seen that maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen it once, maybe twice. I've seen it somewhere another time. Here's a quick horror story for you. Years ago, it was wintertime.
Okay.
And it was pouring rain out. I go to a job. Electrical panel was right above a puddle of water.
Oh,
I didn't go near it.
No.
I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a picture of the box. I opened the box, took a picture inside, did not pull the inner cover off because I was getting wet at the same time. Yeah. Not a good idea. And all the water right below. So I didn't mess with that. So I go in the house now, and I'm just checking my outlets with make sure they got power and stuff like that. I went to go like this into a hallway receptacle. Might have been a hallway/living room. I'm about this far away from the outlet, and a spark jumped from here all the way to this. No shit. Luckily for me, everyone else was watching, so they saw it happen too. I'm like, you guys see that? Yes. Okay, I thought I was seeing things for a second, and I just dropped it. I was like, whoa, what the hell? It literally, what do you think caused that?
You know what? I don't know. I've never heard that story before. That's a good one.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty gnarly.
Very dangerous.
Very dangerous. I've never heard that one before, but
it jumped.
And you can see it.
You could see it.
I've seen that before.
I wish I was videotaping that, boy. That would have been a great YouTube video.
Yeah, that's why when we're working on hot panels, like on 480 panels or something, we always got to protect our face because the arc flashings that burn.
Yeah.
Juan, in fact, I don't know if he told you, if you pay attention to one of his eyes, he was working on the panel and it blew up on him. Little fragments of the arcing marked his eye, burned a little bit. It luckily...
Oof.
It didn't mess with his pupil or anything, but it was just right on the bottom side of his eye. So when you look at him, he has a little burn mark on his eye.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. No, you didn't mention that.
Yeah. Well, listen, that's a pretty bad horror story.
Yeah.
I remember that one. I mean, I've got my whole hands all blacked out.
So what caused the arc flash? It was something in there that wasn't supposed to be in there? Did he have an accident? Did he drop a panel?
It was an existing panel and something was loose in there, and as it was taking it off, it touched and it arced, and accidents happen,
Yeah.
You always got to treat things like they're hot all the time is the way I always do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Always, 100%.
Yeah, I'm super cautious with electrical. I don't like messing with it, and that's why I hired you. So
I
there
don't
you
mess
have.
with plumbing either, and I usually hire plumbers too. But although my dad was a plumber, my dad made me a plumber
Yeah.
growing up, and that's what he did. It's just I think growing up with him, doing it so much, it's just I didn't want to do it.
Plumbing?
Growing up young and going underneath houses, and it's
That's a brutal job, dude.
10, 12 years old, 6 o'clock on a Saturday. I wanted to go out riding with my friends and ride my skateboard. No, we're going to go. We got a plumbing stuff. We got to do a main drain. I was like, oh, now I don't even want to touch it. I mean, I'll touch it with him, but we'll work on things together. If I got something in my house, I'll call him.
Yeah.
We'll work on a project or something.
Well, look at you now. It taught you a lot how to deal with the trades.
Yeah.
You decided what you didn't want to be, and now you're a owner of an electrical company. That's awesome, dude.
And it also makes me learn too about plumbing, like because I know still about plumbing, and I'll question them and I'll see if they know or what they're gonna do, and see if they know their stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I always have my dad there too when there's ever like a plumbing issue in my house, just because my dad's he's good. He'll they'll be saying stuff, and he's like, "Why would you want to do that?" He'll point something out to him, and they're like, "Oh, that's a good point. We never thought about that one." And he goes, "Yeah, you're probably better off just doing it the pitch of the 3-inch pipe this way instead." And then they end up doing it that way, and it's just like I'm glad he was here. But he's real cool about it. He will just stick in the background.
Yeah.
He's not that real person that's like,
Not trying to knock him. He's just trying to give advice.
Yeah,
that's cool. So reverse polarity.
That's a nightmare. That's someone that's not doing wiring right, and it's very dangerous. You can burn out all things. Although some devices don't really care if the polarity is reversed on some devices, like some Apple chargers or whatever. They don't really care. They'll reverse it on their own. But
you can spin that thing around. Doesn't matter.
But if you run into an old system that doesn't have the capability to that, you're in the world of hurt.
Now that would make sense why one of these slots is bigger than the other.
Correct. And that's why.
If your appliance or your component you're trying to plug in has a plug with one side bigger than the other, they care about the polarity, and that's why they designed that plug that way. So you only plug it into the right type of receptacle. Yeah,
and that's why it also has that little slight too, because dedicated 20 amp circuits usually have that little slot, so let people know that it's a 20 amp requirement on the plug. Mm-hmm. But even then, you can still use a 20 amp dedicated with this anyways too.
Right.
But they have I don't know if you've seen like the plugs. They have one slot like this and the other slot sideways on the plugs when you're plugging something in.
I have not seen one of those.
Usually ACs have that. A lot of the ACs have that stuff.
Oh, okay.
That's when you have that.
Yeah. I've never had to deal with one of those.
Yeah. I wouldn't put it in the GFCI on an AC to protect it. You're going to have that thing tripping all the time because of the compressor kicking on.
Yeah.
All the different loads.
Yeah.
It's just going to create nightmares for you.
Right. So can you show us with one of these receptacles, like what you mean by reverse polarity so homeowners can understand?
Yeah. So just when you have you always know the neutral side is always the silver side. That's the way I always look at it.
Okay.
When I tell people, everybody knows that. And the gold side's the power side. Mm-hmm. Is when they have these two reversed or downstream somewhere else. They reverse them because they just don't know. They didn't ID the cables correctly, and they're just making things up.
Could have been a homeowner DIY or something like that. Okay.
I ran into that before.
So it's as simple as just reversing the wires.
Mm-hmm. But even if you reverse them here, you got to find out where they made that connection point of reversing them.
Right.
Because you don't want to just reverse it here and still have it everywhere else the same. You got to kind of trace it back to see if this is where it starts and ends.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So it could be a one isolated area.
It could be.
Or it could be like a daisy chain somewhere.
Or it could be in a junction box and it's spreading out the whole house's reverse polarity and you don't even know that.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that. Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah. This little guy right here.
Yeah. That helps out.
Yeah. So what's your opinion on these versus these?
Stupid sticks and...
you call them stupid sticks?
Yeah, that's what we call them in the trade.
I haven't heard that one yet. That's awesome.
Yeah, these stupid sticks. I use these all the time, but I don't use them. I mean, if I'm just doing some regular running around testing things, I'll lose it just to see if there's some power. Mm-hmm. But if I don't feel comfortable, like if we're troubleshooting, then I'll pull out my meter. I don't rely on and say, oh yeah, I tested it. It has 120.
I don't use that to rely on it to do electrical work.
No.
I just use it as a reference. Yeah. You know what I mean? So another crazy horror story for you at work. I'm in a garage and this house was built pre-1920. This is an old structure, old garage, everything. And it had a fuse box in the garage. I take this. Let me see that. Yeah. I take this. And I'm going up to touch the box to see if the box is energized. And before I even got to the box, this thing was pinging.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to call it like a phantom electric or something. It was just like giving off some kind of a invisible force field or something. And as I went close to it, this thing started lighting up. I didn't even touch it yet.
That's the thing.
That's crazy.
When you're using these, I tell people, like, when you're using them and you're troubleshooting, mainly troubleshooting. I've done a lot of troubleshooting. I'm real good at troubleshooting. When you're troubleshooting, just because you ID this in the box and it's showing it has power doesn't mean it has power. You know what I mean? You still got to verify, because you got to remember, in the junction box, things are spliced up. There could be another passing through circuit or a lighting circuit.
Yeah.
And you think it has power and you don't, and you're just wasting a lot of time thinking
I see.
there has power.
Because that junction box may be connected to a wall switch.
Yeah.
And if that wall switch is off, there'd be no power.
Yeah.
And if you switch the light on that wasn't even connected to that, it could cause that to light up.
Yeah.
I know what
Or
you mean.
there could be another circuit just jumping in between, and this is a separate circuit. Then this circuit could be off, but there's another circuit just jumping in just because it was,
And it's making it look like it's live.
Yeah.
And you sit there for hours trying to figure it out.
Yeah. It's
troubleshooting is part of my job. I enjoy trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
It's like a quiz every day, and that makes me think. I like using my brain.
And that's what I like. I like throwing some hot challenges at me when it comes down to troubleshooting. When I was at me and my brother used to be our farmer, John, man, it was every day, 5 a.m. clocking in, and it's like they're calling us on the radio. We got the second floor pork cut down. We don't know what's going on. Lights are out. We can't work. When a floor's down there, each floor can have like 50 employees, 80 employees on one line. So
wow.
When they're down, you can imagine 80 or 60 people
twiddling their thumbs
and getting paid.
Wow.
We need to bring them back up. So sometimes it takes us an hour or two. So that's 80 people they're paying for free. So
talk about pressure.
Yeah, it was cool. I like that pressure.
Yeah.
It just, to me, that makes me, I don't get nervous.
You walk into the fire, man.
I walk into the fire, and I like the challenge. I like, it doesn't get me nervous. I don't, I don't blank out. It makes me think more. It makes me learn more.
Yeah.
So
what I've learned in my trade is you can't listen to other people. You got to do your own evaluation. You can't, like a homeowner's like, oh yeah, I did this to my house. I did that. I said, well, sir, I know you just said that, but I just went under your house and saw something totally different. So somebody lied to you.
Yeah.
I don't say they told you an untruth or a mistruth. They lied to you. Okay.
Yeah, when people tell me that all the time, when I go over and they tell me, oh, well, the last electrician said there's probably a cut wire in between the wall. He has to run the whole new wire to fix this. And, well, it's his opinion. Everybody has different opinions. I need to assess the problem myself, and before I can really consider that and give you a price for that, because I don't know.
Yeah. You got to do your own evaluation.
Yeah.
That's it. So that's important. Open grounds. What does that mean, an open ground?
Open ground, the house is probably just a 2-prong wire like this, like your house was.
Yeah.
It's normal. It's grandfathered in. It is. It's a system that's how it was back then.
So what would you recommend to a homeowner that said, hey, John told me to call you because I have open grounds everywhere?
If the budget is tight, obviously, I would at least first say, replace all the plugs. Look at the panel. How does the panel look? Does the panel look like yours of an update? Then I would recommend trying to update the panel, because you want to ground out the panel. Mm-hmm. Once you ground out the panel correctly, the breakers work correctly and they're faster. They respond quicker.
Yeah. Okay.
So
it makes it safer.
It does. It does. When you have,
but it's not going to affect the condition of the 2-prong wire.
I mean, the condition of the 2-prong wire is not going to change anything. It's just when you have a good grounded system on the panel, the breakers react a lot faster and can read anything going on, like temperatures heating up.
That is a really good explanation. So no one's ever explained that to me like that before.
So that's why when I tell people you don't have to wire up the houses, you don't. It's just a lot of money.
So updating the panel, which will update the breakers, you now have a more reliable breaker that is going to be more sensitive when it needs to be, and it's going to trip, protecting those outlets and that wiring.
And then you have your cold water ground with the 2 ground rods driving down. You have the water heater that's bonded the way it's supposed to be. So you have a better grounding system for it to work. So
I see. To be safer.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously, all in all, the safest way is to be obviously everything grounded. Obviously.
Right.
But it still works. It'll still trip. It just takes a little bit longer for the breaker to react and do its actual job because it's not fully grounded, but the panel's fully grounded, so it works.
Right.
Now, when you have an old Federal Pacific panel, a Zinsco panel that's not grounded, it's nightmares anyways because those panels are junk to begin with. So, and that's where sometimes some homeowners see a lot of flickering of lights.
Yeah.
Because their system's not grounded.
Right. Right. Okay. Anything else on receptacles you can share with us that I haven't brought up to you? Oh, hey, I almost forgot. One more.
Looks like a...
Says right on it, 30 amp, 125/250 volt.
Yeah, I was saying it looks like a dryer plug or an old conventional oven like from the 70s style.
Yeah. So here's the inside.
Yeah, there you go.
Guess where that came from?
Your house.
My garage. When I moved into my house, it had a washer dryer in the garage and obviously an electric dryer hookup. All right, everybody. So I think we're good on this episode here. The takeaway today is, if you're buying an older home and there's been no electrical upgrades, at least replace all your receptacles to tamper resistant. If you have little ones, if you don't have little ones, then you don't have to worry about that so much. But don't forget, you have relatives that may come over, little kids, whatever. So if you're going to upgrade them, go with the latest, and technically it's up to code.
Yeah,
if you're doing that,
maintenance.
It's just part of an old house. People remodel; they don't change everything when they remodel because they don't know any better. So do it on your own. GFCIs are recommended in wet areas.
Yeah.
Nowadays they're going to be laundry, garage, kitchens, bathrooms, utility rooms.
Yeah.
What about attics? Are they required in attics?
No,
not in the attics.
That's a good one. I never heard it. I mean, when we
I've never seen one in an attic.
Yeah, when we do dedicated circuits for like the HVAC systems, no, it's never a GFCI.
That's true. So don't worry about that part, and don't forget, push that button once a month.
Yeah, and it's within 3 feet the code of where locations are at. So
on either side.
If
your faucet's here, it's 3 feet that way, 3 feet that way.
So people think, well, it's on the same counter and it's like 6 feet away, but it's not.
You're not that long.
You don't have to spend $25-$30 for a plug.
So real quick, Isaac, let everybody know what type of electrical work you offer for residential. So go ahead.
We offer pretty much all upgrades for residential, from panels, house rewires, solar, EV. We do everything.
You mean you wire for solar? You don't install solar?
Well, we've done it before. I just don't advertise it because I don't know. I don't. You don't
want to be a solar guy.
I don't want to be a solar guy. No,
I don't either.
People call me all the time for. I mean, we've done big projects before, and little projects. I mean, I had a solar company just.
So you're okay with touching it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we do a lot more big commercial. Is where we're really our background is commercial.
Yeah. So you come from the commercial field. Okay, so that's good to know too. All right. So if I want receptacles changed, I can call you.
Yeah. Obviously, yeah. 3562-354-8900. That's our office line.
And what's the website address?
You can do it through Yelp or through Google on Electric Brothers. When you search this online on Google, there's an application you can fill out. It says all the name details, what you're looking for, what kind of work.
What I'm asking is, what is your website address?
www.electricbros.com.
Okay, electricbrothers.com.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. All right, thanks, man. Thanks for being on the show, and I'm gonna have you back soon. We're gonna talk about electrical panels.
Yeah, no, thanks for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
All right, man.